Welcome tonight, viewers. My name is Andrew Garino, and I'm super excited to host tonight's show. We're going to be talking about esports. Now, not many of you know what that's about, but I have three guests that are going to tell us about it. We've got Jake Myers. We've got Caitlin Carney. And we have Stephen Hathoot. Well, thank you all for being here. Let's just hop right into this. Whatever, man. My agent booked this. Huh? You're cheesy, bro. Thank you so much for being here today, Caitlin. I have so many questions regarding the history of what esports is really about. I'm excited to get your expert knowledge on this topic.
Thanks. I appreciate it, Andrew.
So, Caitlin, when was the first esports event?
So in 1981, a company called Twin Galaxies was created so they could cover the media and promote esports. And another big coverage of esports was the Guinness Book of World Records, because they would put in like the fastest gamer, the best gamer, the winners of these competitions, and everyone wanted their name and face in the Guinness Book of World Records, so they partook in esports.
I read that Atari hosted an event. Could you speak a little bit more about that?
Yeah, so in 1980, Atari hosted basically the next big tournament after the Stanford tournament, and they had over 100,000 contestants. And this was a big milestone for esports, because it kind of brought more fans into it and brought attention to the sport.
So when was the first big esports company created?
The first esports event was held at Stanford, where 22 to 26 students participated in a game called Space War, and the winner got a yearly subscription to Rolling Stone magazine, and Rolling Stone covered this, making it their first esport media coverage.
What were some of the first leagues established?
In the 2000s, there was two major organizations created. The first one was the World Electronic Sports World Cup, and that one gave away over $2 million in prize money, and they were around for over 12 years. And their big thing was that they demanded these gamers be treated as athletes and called athletes. And then the second big one was the World Cyber Games, and this kind of brought the games all over the world, allowed them to travel, and for gamers to play in their backyard, because they would visit all these places all over the world.
What are some of the current leagues running right now that got their start in the past?
Okay, Major League Sports was created in 2002, and they were the largest league to be created. And then they slowly evolved into a television network called MLG TV, and it's currently around today, and they broadcast different esports. They're not specific to one, they kind of do all esports in general. And then the next one is Overwatch, and Overwatch was a game to begin with, but they've evolved themselves into a network to promote not only their game, Overwatch, but other games in esports.
So what did 2017 look like for esports?
So I'll take you back 2 years. In 2015, esports was recognized as a second-degree Olympic sport. It was put alongside automobile racing, chess, and other games like that. And then last year, they awarded a total of $110 million in prize money, and had over 3,700 tournaments. So it was a huge year of growth for esports, and it kind of tells you what the future holds if they stay on this track.
So Stephen, can you talk to us about the current landscape of esports sponsorship? I mean, like, what can I say? Like, this industry respects loyalty, man. Nobody knows anything about that. You know, we want the brands that have been here from the beginning, from the very beginning. All these new people trying to jump in and get a piece of the pie, we can see right through that, man. Right through. Come again? And I mean, you gotta be paying prices right now that are 5, 15 years ahead. Like, You don't get it, man. You just don't get it. Huh? I mean, we're a community. We're not going to be taken advantage of. All right? We like to keep to ourselves. I mean, you know, we like to hang out, have fun. I mean, bro, yeah. I mean, the lifestyle that we live, you don't even know anything about that, man. Like some of these tournaments that I go to, bro. Do you even know how many girls that I've talked to? Like dozens of chicks, man. I don't even know. You just now mentioned about brands paying top dollar now and hedging their bets for the future. Could you talk about what this looks like internationally? Bro, like the big companies, I mean, they can make it internationally. But, you know, these smaller companies, these mom and pop things, the local companies, they can't really compete. I mean, it doesn't make sense. Think about it. Like, you know, they're trying to sponsor like a big name like me. I mean, come on, bro. I'm international. Like, I mean, you can't have a corner store paying top dollar for exposure overseas. It just doesn't make sense. I mean, bro, you don't even know. You don't even know. So what are some problems facing esports right now? Governing bodies. I mean, for real, man. Like, you know, we've got lots of different leagues and tournaments and everything like that, but we got a ton of games. I mean, all these different games that we have a different league, a different tournament structure. Some are in one country, some are in multiple countries. I mean, there's no governing body that regulates every single thing and every single person. I mean, you can't hold this. Come on, be real with yourself. I mean, this lifestyle, bro. If you want to be part of esports, you got to be willing to sacrifice everything. I mean, me, man. You know, I lost my wife, my kids, my dog Momo. I had to give it up, bro. Anything for the game. Anything for the game. And what's your opinion about esports popping up on college campuses? That's the NCAA's problem, man. They can't even hardly regulate their own main sports, and they think they're gonna come and regulate esports, bro. I mean, it's a joke. Like talking about amateurism, and I'm a pro. I'm a pro. I was a pro from day one. I mean, you don't even know. Like, you want to follow me? You want to learn about my life? Hashtag ladiesman 2.0. What was that? Look, man, I was gonna choose ladiesman 1, but then that was taken by some dude in New England, and I already looked the dude up. He doesn't. Ladies, man, come on, please. Not even close. I'm the ladies, man. I'm really excited right now to talk to Jake Myers, who's an incredible activist for what the future holds in esports. How much revenue do you expect esports to produce in the future?
So, with a combination of TV ads, video ads, and even sponsorships, I do expect the revenue to increase somewhere around $1.5 billion by 2020 and 2.3 billion by 2023. This, you know, when you're considering these numbers, these projections, it's really amazing to think about, considering that esports is it's barely 5 years old. So I would say that speaks volumes for how much esports has grown over the recent years, and will continue to do so in the future. And I think these numbers are a positive representation of that.
So how massive of a role do you see sponsorship playing in esports next year?
Well, when we're talking about sponsorships for esports, you know, you can think about all the different companies that have been involved. Coca-Cola, Red Bull, even Audi and Mercedes-Benz have gotten involved. Robert Kraft, owner of the New England Patriots, has gotten involved. He's made an investment in esports himself, per my research. So it's reasonable to assume that within the next year, sponsorships will play an increasingly massive role as more and more companies are expected to get in on the mix of investing in sponsorships for esports, as we've already seen in the future, as we've already seen in the past. Excuse me, and they will continue to do so, not only in the coming year, but in the next few years, because as technology advances, as more and more participants are getting engaged within the realm of esports and the competitions that they have to offer with Star Wars Battlefront 2, Call of Duty, Fortnite, all those games that have become really popular in the last 2 years, and all these big companies that produce video games, all these big food, media, and automobile companies that I just mentioned. It's reasonable to assume that we'll see massive growth in the next year.
So what does the age demographic look like for fans and participants in esports moving forward?
Well, we can expect it to be pretty young, based on the research that has been conducted in the present time. As of now, 76% of participants and fans in esports, they range in between 10 and 35 years old. Another 22% range in between 35 to 50, and then another 3% range are older than that. So it's reasonable to assume that more and more millennials will get involved in esports and participating in esports in the next year.
Well, that's all we have for this evening. Thank you so much for joining us. I hope that you learned a little bit about esports and you take it out there to the world.